So today is Apara Ekadashi, and it's Friday the 23rd of May 2025, and we're going to continue with our Caitanya Caritamrta reading from chapter 4. Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tara Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manopishtam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapatantikam Priya Sarupe, Dayata Sarupe, Prema Sarupe, Sahajavi Rupe, Nijana Rupe, Prabhueka Rupe, Tatana Rupe, Swavilasa Rupe, Anapita Chirim Chirat, Kurunavaritanokala, Samarpaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam, Haripurata Sundarata Tikatam Vasadipita, Sadakradare Kandare Spadatu Vasachinandanaha. Yam pravajantam anapetyam apetya krityam dvaipaino viraha katara ajuhava putre titam mayatayo taravo vedustam sarvabhutam hridim munimanatoshmi bhaktiya vihina aparara lakshay shiptascha karmaditarangamadye kripa maitvam sharanam prapana Vrinde namaste charanarvindam Bhajami radham aravindanetram Smarami radham madhurashmitasyam Vadami radham karuna bharadram Tato mamanastikatena kapi Tavaivasmi najivami tvaivina Iti vignaya radhe tvam nayamam charanantikam. I'm first of all offering millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my most beloved Gurudev, Adi-lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions of times unto our dear most beloved Adi-lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And again I'm offering millions of Sastan Dandavats unto the lotus feet of our dear most Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Pad, who has given us this immaculate Caitanya Caritamrta. And I'm offering to all our Rupanuga Guru Varga and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. Vancha kalpatarupyascha kripa sindhuvevacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So coming to our subject matter, and gradually through these last 4 chapters, Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is increasing the sweetness and speciality and beauty of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He substantiated initially the spiritual masters in the first chapter. The second chapter was establishing that Mahaprabhu is that supreme personality of Godhead. He is that Ete Kamsa Kalas Pumsam Krishna Stu Bhagavan Swayam. This is directly Sachinandan Gaurahari. And then in the third chapter we discuss the external reasons for his appearance, the loud calling of Advaita Acharya and the gift of the Mahamantra. And now we come to the most confidential reasons, this internal potency. So we're progressively going through. We've discussed something here of Radha Tattva, the greatness, the glories of Radha. And now we're discussing we've already discussed his second desire. Mahaprabhu had 3 desires, Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima. This Mahima, the greatness of Radha's love, he wants to understand the greatness of his love, her love. And then the second desire, Swadhyena Adbhuta Madhurima Kidrishova Madhya. He wants to experience, so we go from understand to experience and finally to relish. 3 desires in a gradation. So we've come to this point of the third desire, that this Sokyam Kasyam Mad Anubhavita Kidrisham Vetilobat, that Krishna wants to taste the happiness that Sri Radhika experiences from receiving the sweetness of his love. So this is remarkable. So all of these descriptions are opening out the appreciation and understanding of the nature of transcendental love. And in those descriptions, it must be mentioned what is not transcendental love. Just like if we want to describe the day, we can describe the darkness of the night. And this accentuates the idea of the day light. So, like this, these cautions have been placed very carefully by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, that lust is like iron and this prem is like gold. The distinction is so absolute. And to see the negative side, so to speak, or what is not love, in the last purport we read yesterday, there was a very beautiful section. I want to read it again today. This is the purport from 165, halfway down. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is saying, all the regulative principles in the Vedas pertaining to desires for popularity, that's pratishta, fatherhood, family life, wealth, economic development, and so on, are different phases of sense gratification. Understand, anything pertaining to the material body is going to be considered sense gratification. So these injunctions or ideas of what is not pure prem are being given here, because then in a few minutes we'll come to the immaculate conception of the gopis prem, who are without any of these trappings or without any of this baggage, we can say. They're completely liberated from the material world. So we have to see irrevocably this distinction between the two to understand what is love. Mahaprabhu has come to give the highest conception of love of God. So what is that love of God? How can we come to that platform? We have to hear about those who are already on the platform, which is the gopis ultimately. And we have to hear about the pitfalls in the material realm of what is not that path of pure love. So then we can see clearly where we are at and how far we have to go. Once we can see the goal, the sadhya, then the sadhak can make progress with his sadhan under sadguru, for sad. Sad means perfect. There's sadguru guiding. Then there's the sadhak, the practitioner, perfect practitioner. Then there's the perfect practice, the sadhan. Then there's the perfect goal, the sadhya. So we go through these four this is called abhideya tattva. This is the methodology. But to have the mindset, the heart set on where we're going, we have to appreciate where we are at in the material realm. Unless we're on that highest platform of perfection, then we are going to be subjected to these various material afflictions. And when the acharyas so kindly point out these pitfalls, then we can climb over them. Just like a psychiatrist or a psychologist, they can point out some dangers or problems that we may face, obstacles in our life, and they can help us clear them by elucidating them. Once you see the danger, then you're halfway there to curing the danger, isn't it? We've said many times that a madman who knows he's mad is not really mad anymore. But a madman who doesn't know he's mad is completely mad. Try to understand that clearly. So we are mad if we're engaged in this material world with any great mood of seriousness, thinking that this is going to bring me that cherished happiness that is most desirous in my heart. We have to know conclusively that this happiness in the heart, that means the Jivatma next to Paramatma, will only be one in service to Krishna. When he's serving Krishna, then he's in his original swabhav. He's in his original nature. And in that way, that happiness that he can glimpse or he can remain with, then that is completely pure. That is nitya, eternal. So the jiva by nature, if he's on this path, seriously. He's seeking this eternal place of consciousness, freed from all inebriety. So I'll just finish this purport because Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, in his kindness, he's pointing out all these obstacles that can trip us up. When we meditate on them and say, yes, I have to drop that, or purify this, understand one thing, that we have to be balanced in our evolution of consciousness. You can't suddenly run for the moon, so to speak, or try to reach the top of the tree. We have to be balanced. And there's an old proverb, it says, don't have the string too tight because it'll break. Don't try and organize your life too quickly in too austere a way because it'll break and probably you'll go tumbling right down the hill again. And don't have it too loose because it won't play. This is a very deep analogy. If we try to be too chilled, so to speak, and not carefully following the injunctions of Shastra because we want to stay in a more, what we might consider, real state of consciousness. And if we make that place too loose, then we can just lose everything. So not too tight and not too loose. We have to balance it. If it's too tight and we're trying to be too extreme, we're going to break. The mind won't be able to handle it. And if we make it too loose, we'll just become sick of it. We'll want to vomit. It'll become tediously boring. So we have to balance this very carefully. Acts of sense gratification may be performed under the cover of public welfare. Yes. It's like we have the Christian group. They're always wanting to save the world as far as the body is concerned. Give food away to the starving people and like this, do different altruistic acts. This is called self-righteousness. This is completely on the bodily platform, in fact. It's not taking them to Godhead, because it's not giving this valued information like we're getting from this Caitanya Caritamrta. So he says, public welfare, nationalism, religion, altruism. Religion, in a sense, is like a fanatical mood. It's only my way. This is going to create wars. How many religious wars have gone on through history? History is just packed with war after war after war after war. And most of them, historically, are coming around from the religious point of view. Certainly in the last 3,000 or 4,000 years. We look at European history. Christians against the Muslims, the Lutherans, the Protestants, the Catholics, etc. All these different parties fighting. Completely unfortunate. Altruism, ethical codes, biblical codes, health derivatives. Yes, someone may say, oh, you should only eat a carrot every day or something like that. For them it's good, but maybe that's not good for everyone else's metabolism. So we don't have to have a war about it. We have to be a little bit empathic with each other. Fruitive action, bashfulness, tolerance, personal comfort, liberation from material bondage, progress, family affection, or fear of social ostracism or legal punishment. But all these categories are different subdivisions of the one substance, sense gratification. Now, I'm saying this again because Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is going to repeat exactly the same thing as Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada has just said. So we're hearing these two aspects to purify us, to qualify just to meditate on what is pure divine love. We're trying to understand the topmost pinnacle of love. So as I said initially, that when we understand that what is not love, what is lust, and highlight it, spotlight it, then we can perhaps purify it out of our lives. Karma esha, krodha esha, rajaguna samudvaha. Mahashano, mahapapma, the greatest sin. What's that? Vidi enam iha vairanam. Vairanam means the greatest enemy. Lust is not necessarily just sexual lust, but any sensual engagement. It's any attraction to this material realm. We're hearing topics from the Vishuddha Sattva platform. Naturally, a hunger is going to awaken in the devotee when he's hearing these topics. Yes, I want to come to that platform. This is why I'm hearing this katha. This is why I'm reading Caitanya Caritamrta, because I want to evolve, I want to progress, to come to this platform of pure, unadulterated love for Krishna. What is that pure, love for Krishna? What is that love? How to access it? First of all, I should know what is not love. And then that will give me an easier conception to what is this transcendental love. But above all this is a transcendental stage in which one feels himself to be only an eternal servant of Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead. Once we establish the absolute personality of Godhead fixed in our consciousnesses as an absolute solid reality, then Sharanagat, or surrender to that person, becomes much, much easier. So what is the process and the method? To hear regularly about these truths again and again and again, until we come to that platform of Uttam Bhakti, this platform of pure Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti. All acts performed in this sense of servitude are called pure love of God, because they are performed for the absolute sense gratification of Sri Krishna. So in order to put that desire to please Krishna on the front burner, we must be hearing about Krishna regularly, daily, as much of an infusion as we can digest per day about the glories and sweetness of Krishna. This is coming from Srimad Bhagavatam, this is coming from Jaiva Dharma, this is coming from Caitanya Caritamrta. All these basic granthas that we have around us, if we are open to, are becoming receptive to hearing this, then our progress is going to be good and swift, and we're going to be inspired and encouraged. However, any act performed for the purpose of enjoying its fruits or results is an act of sense gratification. So you've got the two sides. You've got what is pure devotional service and what is not pure devotional service. So by hearing these two sides, then we can make our assessment of what is that pure devotional service much more easily. We're Tatashta Shakti, we're marginal energy, we're oscillating between these two poles of our existence. One is solidly on the material platform, Brahman, Brahmate, Konya, Bhagavan, Jiva. I've been circling in this Brahmand for countless births. And only by Guru Krishna Prasad Poi, Bhakti Lata Bij, only by Guru's mercy would this Bhakti Lata Bij come. What is that Bhakti Lata Bij? That Krishna Seva Vasana, that inspiration to serve Krishna, not me. This is the perverted reflection in this world, because I am at the center of it. That's the perversion. When I purify that perversion and put Krishna at the center. But it's not so easy. I don't think anyone listening for a moment can say, yes, it's easy. It's not so easy because of our conditioning and because of the environment, because so many obstacles are there in Kali Yuga in particular to drag us away. Krishna Boli, what should you say, Jiva? Anadya Bahir Mukh. We become indifferent to Krishna. Therefore, Ataiva Maya. Therefore, Maya, she captures us. Ataiva Maya, Tare Dare, then Krishna, he puts us into that samsara dukh, that miserable world of suffering. This is the fact. When we realize the fact, we realize our limitations in being able to follow also. It's not so easy, but still we must know the path. If we don't know the path, then we're in trouble. Okay, so come to the next verse where we were up to from yesterday. So text 106. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Kamera Tatparya Nija Sambho Kevela Krishna Sukha Tatparya Matra Prema Tapabala. The object of lust is only the enjoyment of one's senses, but love caters to the enjoyment of Lord Krishna, and thus it is very powerful. Krishna's Kaviraj and Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada are trying to bring us to a place of contemplating pure love. Just to think about pure love is a great, great stage of advancement. Just to be contemplating what is pure love. That means we come out of the rush, the busyness of our minds, and we come more into the reality of what is our objective, what is that sadhya? To perform loving devotional service as the gopis performed. This is what we're going to hear. This is what all these texts are. This particular section of text, they're wanting to give us love, a picture of love. What is the love that we're talking about here? Because it's nothing to do with the sentimental, romantic love of this material world, and that's the only experience we've had of love, basically. But when we take up this spiritual practice, there will become many highlights in the devotee's consciousness, especially today, for example, it's Ekadashi. If you're following carefully, if you're chanting a little bit more, reading a little bit more, some mercy will come. And that mercy we will appreciate is from the divine quarter. And therefore my faith and Shraddha will increase towards that quarter. And then I will want to spend more time contemplating that quarter. When there's that reciprocation, that sambandha, that mood of connection with the Supreme. If that mood of connection is not there, then we're going to be very frustrated in our attempts. That mood of definite connection with Guru first, and the Vaishnavas, and our Seva, and the Holy Dham, and the Shastra. Text 167 to 169. Loka dharma veda dharma deha dharma karma lajja daryak deha sukha atma sukha marma dustyaja arya prata nija parjana swajane kareya yata tadana bharsana sarvatyaja korikare Krishna re bhajana Krishna sukha hetu kare prema savana. Now, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is going to repeat the same as what I've just repeated at the beginning. This is why I just wanted to repeat from this purport first, because we can see how much in sync entirely Srila Krishna's Kaviraj and Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada are just two, have become one voice. Social customs, scriptural injunctions, bodily demands, fruitive action, shyness, patience, bodily pleasures, sense gratification, and the path of Varnashram Dham, which is very difficult to give up. The gopis have forsaken all these, as well as their own relatives, and their punishment and scolding for the sake of serving Lord Krishna. They render loving service to him for the sake of his enjoyment. We're getting a picture. The veil is being pulled back a little bit. What is divine love? What is this Shuddha Sattva or Vishuddha Sattva platform that the gopis are on? We are in the gopis Anugatya. We are Rag Anugas. We're following those Ragatmikas. And we're Rupanugas because we're following the teachings of Rupa Goswami, which is where all this is coming from, who is the mouthpiece for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we're getting the entire package here. Iha ke kahiya Krishna drita anurag swachadunte vastra yache nahi kona dag. This is text 170. That is called firm attachment to Lord Krishna. It is spotlessly pure, like a clean cloth that has no stain. How poetic, how beautiful Srila Krishna's Kaviraj presents these. Purport. The author of Sri Caitanya Caritamrta advises everyone to give up all engagements of sense gratification and, like the gopis, dovetail oneself entirely with the will of the Supreme Lord. We have nothing to lose. Don't be afraid that you're going to lose. What are you going to lose? Your material reputation? Your material wealth? Only material things we're going to lose. We're not going to lose the reality, the spiritual reality. But we're terrified. We don't want to appear foolish in public. We don't want to lose our reputation, etc., etc. We want to maintain our status quo in the material world. That is the ultimate instruction of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharma parityaja mamekam saranam braja aham tam sarve papavyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Give up all varieties of religion, just abandon them all, and just surrender unto me. Do not fear, don't worry. Ma suchaha. Have no worries for this. And it's described, what is this worry? Bhayam. Bhayam means fear. Bhayam dvitiya biniveshitam syat. Isat upatasya vipareyo shmiti. This means that fear arises when one is absorbed in material life. When one is materially absorbed, then fear will arise. Try and hear the purports of these beautiful shlokas. Where is fear? We're all fearful in the material world because we have some attraction, attachment. When detachment wells in the heart, by coming to a place of attachment for Krishna, because this is the only path, the attachment for Krishna is going to purify this attachment to the material world. The whole science of Krishna consciousness is here. Everyone to give up all engagements of sense gratification and, like the gopis, dovetail oneself entirely with the will of the Supreme Lord. That is the ultimate instruction of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. We should be prepared to do anything and everything to please the Lord, even at the risk of violating the Vedic principles or ethical laws. And we have the beautiful example I gave the other day when Krishna had a headache. He asked Narad to ask the queens for their foot dust. This would cure his headache. They all refused. They were terrified. No, we'll go to hell if we give our foot dust. And then Narad came back to Krishna and told Krishna this, and Krishna said, go and ask the gopis, because they have real love for me. The gopis immediately made a mountain of their foot dust. Yes, take as much as you want. Narad said, aren't you afraid of what reaction you'll come for putting your foot dust on the head of Krishna? Gopi said, we don't care for our own welfare. We just care for Krishna's satisfaction and happiness. If he's got a headache, take as much as you want. Extraordinary. Can we even begin to imagine this route? Can we give up everything? There's our worldly things to give up. That's the first part. That's usually the easy part. But then there's our whole false ego, ultimately, to purify and bring to the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev. My Gurudev used to say, I want one thing from you. I just want your independence. I want you to give me your independence. That's very hard. I found that very difficult. That's not so easy. But that's the standard if we want this. This is something very, very real. It's something very wonderful. It's perhaps lifetimes in the making. It's a gradual evolution of consciousness. It's not just going to happen in an instant like that. It's a gradual awakening of the futility of material engagements and the most wonderful engagement in pure devotional service to Krishna for his pleasure. Generally, only we can access this by seeing the selfless service of the Acharya, of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj, of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srila Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Ballabh Tirtha Maharaj, all these personalities, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. Just by hearing about these personalities and their lifestyle, their life, what they gave, Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhamana Maharaj, Srila Trivikram Maharaj, what they gave. This is why we celebrate their appearance days so prominently and remember them, because they will give us their mercy. We should be prepared to do anything and everything to please the Lord, even at the risk of violating the Vedic principles or ethical laws. That is the standard of love of God. This is scripture. It's giving us the blueprint. We will be able to accept some things and not accept other things, but it's a gradual immersion for our entire life. Such activities in pure love of Godhead are as spotless as white linen that has been completely washed. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur warns us in this connection that we should not mistakenly think that the idea of giving up everything implies the renunciation of duties necessary in relation to the body and mind. Yes, don't go crazy. Don't go crazy and give up prematurely family life or your job or anything like that. Let it evolve. When the attraction for Krishna becomes strong, automatically these material attachments will automatically be purified and drop. 100%. What will you do if you suddenly give up your home life, give up your family life, etc.? What will you do? You expect, oh yes, I can just sit and chant 24 hours a day, but you'll find that you won't be able to do that. And probably you'll just become very, very lazy and just do nothing all day, sleep. So this will be tragic. So one must evolve into this stage of living a much more, we can say, renounced life. Even such duties are not sense gratification if they are undertaken in a spirit of service to Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had, 12 kids, had a wife, he had to marry all his children, he had to go different parts of the country to find a bride or a groom for his children, etc. He had to work to maintain his children, but it was all in service to Krishna. So he is the most brilliant example of how to dovetail his Krishna consciousness with his family life, balancing. Like I said in the beginning, the string is not too tight and it's not too loose. We find the compromised balance in between. And gradually, with age, with immersion in these topics, then gradually and gradually, our interest will become more inclined towards Krishna. And then Krishna will take care of any responsibilities we're trying to maintain. Krishna will fully take care of our family situations and so on by himself. Our parents, our loved ones, etc. will be taken care, and we'll see that. So there'll be no fear. It's a gradual, but the pinnacle, the point, the principle is developing this affection and attraction to Krishna. This affection and attraction to Krishna, which is not material. When this is being progressively enhanced daily, then we will feel great satisfaction in the heart. We'll feel great confirmation that yes, I'm on the right track, so to speak. Our confidence will come. We have this expression of Shraddha. Shraddha Shabde Vishvasa Koi Sudrita Nishchoy. This Shraddha Shabde Vishvasa. Vishvasa means confidence. As our Shraddha increases, then our confidence in this path will increase and fear will evaporate when that confidence increases. Ataiva karma prem bhuta antara karma andartama prema nirmala bhaskara. Translation. Therefore lust and love are quite different. This is what we've been talking about a lot today, because we are that tashta. We are in this borderline between lust and love. We oscillate. We've been immersed in material life since time without beginning, anadir baki muk. And Maya has captured us. And now we can purify very easily that Mayic illusion by carefully following. Lust is like dense darkness, but love is like the bright sun. So Krishna's Kaviraj and Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, they wanting to give us love. They wanted to write a picture of just love, but they have to put in the backdrop of where we are coming from, the jiva. This is their tremendous compassion and mercy to us. They're showing us the darkness of Maya. All Shastra is showing us that. Text 172. Ataiva gopi ganera nahi karma ganda Krishna shuka lagi matra Krishna se sambandha. Translation. Thus, there is not the slightest taint of lust in the gopis' love. So now we can appreciate the gopis' love, because we've heard so much about the height of their love, and we've heard what isn't love. So now we're able to appreciate their love, and hear clearly what Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is trying to give us. Their relationship with Krishna is only for the sake of his enjoyment. They love him completely. I was reading yesterday about Krishna's wet nurse, Ambika. Her name is Ambika. This is Krishna's wet nurse. She loves Krishna so much in this Vatsalya Prem. She performs tremendous austerity to have a son called Vijay eventually, who will protect Krishna. She becomes afraid of the demons might attack this soft, beautiful personality of Krishna. Her love is so intense towards Krishna. She performs these austerities to have a son to protect him. This is the Brijabasi's love. They want to protect Krishna. They don't think Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They think he needs protecting by us. So we see the highest example of love is within the Brijbasis. This is why we follow the Brijbasis. Tishtem Braje Tanuragi Janu Gami. Srila Rupa Goswami is saying, following in the footsteps of the Brijbasis, total love for Krishna. Mother Yashoda is the same. She worries all the time about Krishna's safety when he goes to the forest. She has all these different powerful sakhas guard Krishna, and she's constantly cautioning Balaram to stay with Krishna, to protect him. He's so soft, he can't protect himself. This is their vision of Krishna. This is the Brijabasi's mood. So we want to appreciate this more deeply. Text 173. Yatte sujata charanam buruham staneshu Bhitashanai priyadadinai karkesheshu Tenat vimatasit yatvyatena kimsvit Kurpadipi brahmati tir parayusanna. This is the last verse of the Gopi Gita. O dearly beloved, your lotus feet are so soft that we place them gently on our breasts, fearing that your feet will be hurt. Our life rests only in you. What a beautiful conception. They understand their life rests in Krishna. The entirety of their being, their life heirs, everything has been given to Krishna. They trust complete. They know the immensity of his capacity to absorb their love. Our minds, therefore, are filled with anxiety that your tender feet might be wounded by pebbles as you roam about on the forest path. This is the final verse of the Gopi Gita, this most magnificent Gita in the 10th chapter, where the gopis are singing out their hearts in desperation. Krishna is listening to this, but their separation mood has reached a pitch. Jayati te dikam janmana praja shrayata indira shashvadatrahi daita drishyatam dikshutavakas tvaitrita shavas tvam vichinrate. The gopis, their whole hearts are sung in this Gopi Gita, offering their everything to Krishna. All the Gits, the 5 Gits of the Bhagavatam, are the separation moods, the deepest moods of separation. This, again, is giving us a window into what is this pure prem that Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is trying to describe, that Mahaprabhu wants to taste. This is all about Mahaprabhu tasting this prem. He wants to taste this prem as the ashraya, as the servant of this prem. And we said categorically the other day that there's no question of Mahaprabhu wanting to enjoy some type of conjugal relationship with Radha or Krishna. He's simply serving Radha and Krishna, as the gopis are. But the gopis, they have this, what's it called? Sambhog Ichamai. They're blessed with the adhikar to enjoy directly with Krishna. That is not the adhikar of the manjaris. the Nitya Sakis or the Pran Sakis. 5 types of Sakis. There's Saki, Nitya Saki, Pran Saki. Then there's Priya Saki, Priyanam Saki. 5 Sakis. 3 of those Sakis are in the mood of Sambhog. That means they have the adhikar to enjoy directly with Krishna, manifesting from the body directly of Sri Radhika, with the same moods as Sri Radhika. The same moods of intense attraction to Krishna as Sri Radhika. Sri Radhika is manifesting her Kaya Vyuha to increase the happiness of Krishna. And all of her Kaya Vyuha have exactly the same hunger to please Krishna as Radhika has. But the Nitya Sakis and the Pran Sakis are the Manjaris. They are serving Sri Radhika directly. This ultimately is going to be described, and we'll hear, it's practically a higher state of consciousness than the Sakis themselves, because the Manjaris can be far more familiar with both Radha and Krishna. If Radha and Krishna are in the Kunj, in a conjugal pastime, and their hair becomes entangled with their jewelry, which it sometimes does in their erotic engagements, the Manjaris can come straight in, fearlessly, into that kunj, and they can disentangle the hair from the jewelry. The Sakis can't. The Sakis are more on a familial level with Radha and Krishna, but the Manjaris can. They're total surrendered maidservants of Krishna. So it's a different mood. It's called Tad Tad Bhav Ichamayi. We should be familiar with these terminologies. This text is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:31-19. 19 is the last verse of the Gopi Gita. There's 19 verses in the Gopi Gita. Was spoken by the gopis when Krishna left them in the midst of the Ras Lila. In the midst of the Ras Lila, they were enjoying like they have never tasted pleasure in their entire existence. And all of a sudden, within a moment, it was snuffed out. What height of separation did follow after that? Again, it was the other side. We're going from 2 sides. Just like the jiva is going from his attached to the material side to his attachment to Krishna, the gopis are also going from separation to union, separation and union. There's a purpose to this. The separation will always nourish the union. Without the separation, the union will have no utsaha, no enthusiasm. This is why we've already described about parakiya ras. Krishna's Kaviraj is describing all these topics in this 4th chapter. It's an amazing chapter. Text 174. Atma sukhe dukhe gopira nahika vichara Krishna sukha hetu chesta mano vivyahara. Translation. The gopis do not care for their own pleasure or pains. They endure so much pains of separation. We wrote in that beautiful article on separation, if you haven't read it, from the Ananda Vrindavan Champa we posted yesterday, I think, or the day before. It's extraordinary. You should familiarize yourselves with that. What is the extent of the pain that the gopis endure in their separation? Being cut with thousands of razor blades, being bitten by scorpions, being blasted by the heat of the sun, etc. These descriptions are separate, so extreme, because the height of the union is so extreme on the other side. So both sides are extremities. The gopis do not care for their own pleasures or pains. All their physical and mental activities are directed towards offering enjoyment to Lord Krishna. Krishna laji arasaba kare pratyaga Krishna sukha hetu kare suda anurag. Translation. They renounce everything for Krishna. They have pure attachment to giving Krishna pleasure. So now the whole emphasis is on the height of the gopis' prem, because this is what Mahaprabhu wants to ultimately taste himself. So Krishna's Kaviraj is telling us what it is that he wants to taste. He wants to taste the height of their prem. Text 176. Evam man artojita lokaveda svanam hi vo maya anuvritaya balaha maya praksham bhajata trihitam masyatitam maharata tat priyam priya. Translation. O my beloved gopis, you have renounced social customs, scriptural injunctions, and your relatives for my sake. We've just been through that whole list of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada saying the same things. If we want to come to this platform of Gopi Prem, we also have to give up. But actually it's not giving up. We don't give up anything. We go to the highest stage, and automatically the lower stage becomes distasteful. So ultimately we don't give up really anything in a sense. We just embrace the higher conception. Param drisvar nivartante. I disappeared behind you only to increase your concentration upon me. Since I disappeared for your benefit, you should not be displeased with me. Understand the gravity of this love, the sweetness, the seriousness of what we're actually discussing. It's taking us right to the very edge of consciousness, material consciousness. And if we have faith, we can go across the other side into transcendental consciousness. But we must have that goal. If we don't have that goal, then how can we travel towards it? We have to have that vision in sight. Since I disappeared for your benefit, you should not be displeased with me. Of course, the gopis are feeling some, displeasure with Krishna because he disappeared. When he returns, it's described that one gopi in particular was looking at him with angry eyes from a distance. This, of course, is Sri Radha directly. Other gopis responded differently when Krishna reappeared. That's a beautiful pastime. Purport. This text from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:32-21 was spoken by Lord Krishna when he returned to the arena of the Rasa Lila. Text 177. Krishnera pratigyan eka ache purva hate ye ache bhaje Krishna tare bhaje tyache. Translation. Lord Krishna has promised from before to reciprocate with his devotees according to the way they worship him. So now we're hearing from Krishna's Kaviraj that Krishna has promised to reciprocate with one who surrenders to him. But it appeared that he didn't with the gopis. And we're going to hear the result of this. Text 178. Yeyatamam prabadyante tam stataiva prajamyaham mamarvatvanu martante manusya parata sarvashaha. Translation. In whatever way my devotees surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Prita. Purport. Krishna was never ungrateful to the gopis, for as he declares to Arjuna in this verse from the Bhagavad Gita 4.11, he reciprocates with his devotees in proportion to the transcendental loving service they render unto him. In proportion. Not more, not less. Everyone follows the path that leads towards him. But it's described that Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he just doesn't ask how much you've surrendered or how much you're actually anxious for this. He'll give you this anyway if we're doing the practice in a reasonably respectful way. Mahaprabhu, Krishna will ask, bring your container and I will fill it with this nectar. Mahaprabhu says, oh, you don't have a container, you don't have the adhikar, the sukriti, the sanskar. I will give you that. I will give you the container. Mahaprabhu is this much more merciful, munificent, audarya. This is the mood of Mahaprabhu. We're discussing Mahaprabhu's confidential reasons for his appearance here. So all of these topics are highlighting the Mahaprabhu's reasons for coming. He wants to taste this prem that Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj and Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada are describing very clearly what is not prem, lust, and what is prem, that purest, nirmala love, selfless love. Everyone follows the path that leads towards him, but there are different degrees of progress on that path, and the Lord is realized in proportion to one's advancement. Not everyone is going to achieve the same result. Everyone will achieve the result according to his own progress, the degree of his progress. It's a science, a beautiful science. The path is one, but the progress in approaching the ultimate goal is different. Yes, we're all millions and billions of Jivatmas are coming from different places to this one path. The path is the one, but the way we actually come to it, every single person listening here today are different to each other. Everyone has different adhikar, different mindset. Everyone will be hearing what I'm saying differently, according to our adhikar. How much we can realize this or practice this or appreciate this will depend on our sincerity, on our gravity of our bhajan, etc. The path is one, but the progress in approaching the ultimate goal is different, and therefore the proportion of realization of this goal, namely the absolute personality of Godhead, is also different. The gopis attained the highest goal, and Lord Chaitanya affirmed that there is no method of worshipping God higher than that followed by the gopis. This gopi prem, gopi anugatya. This is what we have to conclude. The love of the gopis for Krishna. And when we meditate on the love of the gopis for Krishna, then more and more our appreciation of the immensity, nirmala, this purity, this sacred love and greed. Because they're in parakya, they have to overcome so many obstacles to meet with Krishna. So this accentuates, this heightens the understanding of their praying for him. They have to cheat their elders. They have to do all kinds of tricky things to get out in the forest at night, to be away from Krishna. They have to lie and cheat. They have to break the Vedic regulations, all dharma, all shyness, etc. They have to break it to be with Krishna. They don't mind, because there's so much in love with Krishna. This is Gopi Prem. Text 171. Se pratikyam banga haile gopir bhajane tahite pramana Krishna se mukha vachane. Translation. That promise has been broken by the worship of the gopis, as Lord Krishna himself admits. Lord Krishna couldn't maintain this promise of reciprocating. Verse 180. This is a most famous verse. Na paryeham niravadya samyujam swasvadu krityam vibhudyasya piva yama bhajan durjageha shrinkala srangvishchaya tadva pratiyatu sadhana. This is what Krishna spoke when he returned to the gopis after putting them through so much trauma of separation. Translation. O gopis, I am not able to repay my debt for your spotless service. This spotless service, this nirmala, which I've been referencing, niravadya samyujam, those who are completely free from deceit. This is the description of their absolutely pure love. Absolutely pure, not a blemish. And the non-devotee will see so much blemish in it. He'll look at it from a moralistic point of view or a dharmic point of view, etc., and condemn the gopis even, and think it was some lusty affair. So we must be very fixed in our appreciation of what is this tattva, what is this truth. O gopis, I am not able to repay my debt for your spotless service, even within a lifetime of Brahma. A day of Lord Brahma is 8,640,000,000 years. What to speak of a lifetime? It's trillions of years. So Krishna is proclaiming that he can't repay his debt even in trillions of years to the gopis. This pacifies the gopis' hearts so much. It touches them to the core that Krishna should speak to them in such a compassionate, compliant way. They're so satisfied. Krishna is so expert in pacifying his devotees. And this verse absolutely pacifies the hearts of the gopis. Your connection with me is beyond reproach. You have worshipped me cutting off all domestic ties which are difficult to break, this durjara, geha, shrinkala, the chains of household life. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. Krishna knows if he asks, what do you want in return for this? They will just respond, we want to serve you more. So Krishna is saying, let your good deeds be your compensation. I can't repay you. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:32-22 was spoken by Lord Krishna himself when he returned to the gopis upon hearing their songs of separation. Text 181. Tabe yedakiya gopir nija deha pitra pita sehota krishnera lagi janha nischita. Now, whatever affection you see the gopis show for their own bodies, know for certain to be only for the sake of Lord Krishna. Their decoration, etc., is only for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. Nothing they have is to be retained by them. Everything is for Krishna. Purport. The selfless love of Godhead exhibited by the gopis cannot have any parallel. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is writing this. We should not, therefore, misunderstand the carefulness of the gopis in their personal decoration. We're talking about absolute love, which is the principle of chanting Hare Krishna, which is the principle of Mahaprabhu's movement and mission, is this transcendental love. These verses we're describing now are the very core explanation of this transcendental love, which is the description of the gopis' love. There's nothing higher. Even if you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is included in the Caitanya Caritamrta, so many verses, you won't get a higher explanation, more graphically presented, than is here in this chapter 4. The gopis dressed themselves as beautifully as possible just to make Krishna happy by seeing them. They had no ulterior desires. Actually, the gopis did even more than that. They deliberately put their clothes on in their bewilderment in the wrong order. They would put their blouses on the bottom, they would put their necklaces around their waist, they would put their dresses incorrectly, their earrings, just one earring, etc. And when Krishna saw them, he would carefully go to each single gopi and rearrange her shringar. What beautiful demonstration of affection was Krishna demonstrating to each individual gopi. He was fixing all their dresses correctly himself, because they had run, just put one half lipstick, one eye with this anjan and kajal. And Krishna, he went and completed their shringara personally. Krishna loved to do that. That was why the gopis allowed themselves to come to him in such a disarrayed state, because they knew that Krishna would like to do that. They're trying to offer seva to Krishna. They are understanding that service actually is the highest expression of love, of tasting the love. Mahaprabhu himself wants to taste this service as the ashraya, as the devotee. It's always the service that is the highest taste of attraction and affection. They had no ulterior desires. They dedicated their bodies and everything they possessed to the service of Sri Krishna, taking it for granted that their bodies were meant for his enjoyment solely. They dressed themselves with the understanding that Krishna would be happy by seeing and touching them, only for his pleasure. Text 182. E deha kolan ami Krishna samapana tanra dana tanra iha samboga sadana. Translation: the gopis think, I have offered this body to Lord Krishna. He is its owner, and it brings him enjoyment. 100% Sharanagat, fully. So this Sharanagat quality is not something, I've said many times, that just happens the one time. It's an ongoing, deepening sense of how to surrender. It's constantly evolving, this mood of Sharanagat. It's not, oh, I read Bhagavad Gita, I'm surrendered. Yes, I've shaved my head, etc., I'm surrendered. It goes on, moment by moment, day by day. Opportunities are coming when we can surrender more to the desire to bring pleasure to Radha and Krishna through the teachings of mission of Mahaprabhu. How can I do that? Our gurus and instructors will guide us in the methodology to actually do that. We should become hungry by hearing these descriptions. How can I serve Krishna more fully? How can I also please Krishna more fully? What can I do to please Krishna? Text 183. Edeha darshana sparsha Krishna santoshana elajicha kare deha marjana bashana. Translation. Krishna finds joy in seeing and touching this body. It is for this reason that they cleanse and decorate their bodies. He's taking us more deeply into an appreciation of what is love. How the gopis think, how they act in response to their desperate desire to please Krishna. We just sang that beautiful verse, Yatte sujata charanam buroham saneshu, that they are worried about Krishna's feet being pricked as he walks on the thorny path, chasing the cows, etc. Even though they have been told by Purnamasi that Prithivi herself puts her tongue out, and Krishna is walking on the soft tongue of Mother Earth anyway. And if there were any thorns, they'd become like rubber when Krishna places his lotus feet upon them. So they have nothing to worry about. Yet the mood of their hunger to please Krishna makes them say these things, think these things. Like I just described the mood of Ambika, the wet nurse. She's thinking that Krishna can't protect himself in the forest. I have to perform tremendous austerities to get a son who will protect Krishna when he goes to the forest. Is Vijay. Vijay, a very powerful man. He's described it when he would shout, then he would roar like a lion, and all the three worlds would tremble when he would roar. And Krishna loved that company and association in pure loving friendship, but even more so with the gopis. Text 184. Nijaganam api gopyo Nigam api gopyo yo mameta samupashyate tabya param name parta niganda prema bhajanam. Translation. O Arjuna, there is no greater receptacles of deep love for me than the gopis, who cleanse and decorate their bodies because they consider them mine. Krishna's Kaviraj is supporting every single statement he's saying here with all different aspects from Shastra. He's just pulling them all together. And Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is supporting all this also. Purport. This verse was spoken by Lord Krishna in the Adi Purana. Text 185. Ara eka adbhuta gopi parva swabhave buddhira gochara nahe yaha prabhava. Translation. There is another wonderful feature of the emotion of the gopis. Its power is beyond the comprehension of the intelligence. I'm going to leave it here. It's a good place to leave it. So we're going from one stage to another stage, describing the gopis' prem. Why are we describing the gopis' prem? Because this is what Mahaprabhu has come to taste. If we just say, oh yes, to taste the gopis' prem without a description of their prem, without hearing the selfless nature of their prem, how can we begin to understand Mahaprabhu and what it is that he wants to taste? So we'll continue this again on Monday. So as I'm saying every time, I hope you will refresh yourselves and read back through. My purpose in reading this Caitanya Caritamrta is to, of course, encourage us all into hearing this Caitanya Caritamrta, but also to encourage us all into reading this Caitanya Caritamrta as much as we read the Bhagavatam or any other scripture. It must be read, especially chapters like this, just chapter 4. Personally, I have this on a printout, small copy, just the chapter. I pulled it out and have the small copy and I carry it everywhere. I can just read it again and again and again, because it's endless, these truths. We want to perform loving devotional to Krishna and Radha. What is that loving devotion? What does it look like? What does it taste like? What does it act like? These are descriptions of that. The gopis' prem. Sri Caitanya Caritamrta Ki Jai, Anantakota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Go Premanande. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Oh Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Ekadashi Brat Ki Jai, Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai, Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Arupananda Guru Varga Ki Jai, Gopi Bhav Ki Jai, Anantakota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Go Premanande, Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Patitanam Pavnebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.